Welcome to today's Coffee Talk from Planet Fair. As we do every Friday, we will be talking about exactly 8 minutes about the fastest opportunities to reach Planet Fair. We do this with a cup of coffee, and I'm Henrike von Platen.
And I'm Margrét Bjarnadóttir.
Oh, Margrét, it's so great to see you. And I really missed you a whole week. And I was wondering this week, I just want to ask you, what did you spend most time on over the past weeks? Working time.
Working time? I've actually been modeling working schedules for hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Which is a valid question. Why would I spend my time on modeling working schedules? So we're running a large pay equity study, and it's important. So it's an organization that both has white collar and blue collar, and the blue collar workers have different shifts. And why we are going into that level of detail of modeling, what should explain pay, is that there isn't an equal gender distribution across the different types of shifts, right? So what we are seeing is that the females are more likely to be on day shifts, the males are more likely to be on late shifts or even weekend shifts. And then if we don't account for it, then the adjusted pay gap or the equal pay gap would be larger than it really is. So that's why it's important to capture that in this instance.
Yeah. You said blue collar, white collar, because I was just thinking that we often have the discussions about time as well in Germany when we're like saying, hey, come on, why does the board meeting, so to say, have to be after 5 p.m.? These kind of issues. So that's the part that you want to sort of module out, to say it that way?
Yeah, so I think there's a difference, right? So when we have, let's say we are running an assembly line or where we, our capacity is such that we have to run them 12 or 16 hours a day, we will always have to have these fixed shifts. And then if they really influence pay, then it's important to account for it. I think what you're getting at is this cultural question, is that, how do we run our organizations? When is it legit to put meetings? That I wouldn't model. I think that's more of, how do we create an inclusive culture within the organization?
So what you model is actually to make sure that if you have shifts that get like on top money towards others, you make sure that the diversity that you have in your company, meaning males, females, but everything else we want to account for too, gets a fair share of the sort of better paid part as well. So that you get, because you have this effect on the pay gap when you say, okay, you're always working only in the cheap hours in a way, because they, for whatever reason, they are the cheaper ones, and for whatever reason, women tend to have them. So that's actually what you're cleaning up?
I would say that's the other side of the coin. So the side of the coin that I'm working on right now is actually capturing, because when we think about pay and compensation, if I'm working weekends and overtime, that's a reason that I might get paid more than someone else. And then, if there isn't gender parity across how the different workers work, then we need to capture that so that we don't go, claiming that there's a huge equal pay gap, where really all of it can be explained by the fact that, I only work during the daytimes, but maybe you only work weekends or whatever it is, right? So that's what we need to be careful about when we do pay equity analysis. The other side of the coin, the flip side of the coin that you mentioned, is access to opportunity, right? Yeah. So what we also, a byproduct often of these analysis is kind of this realization, we don't have a single female on this work schedule. Why is that? And this, changing the culture so that there is equal access to opportunity is super important.
Yeah, but I get it. At the first you sort of sort out that it's fair in a way just for the structure, no matter who does the job. And then you have the flip side. Yeah, that's good. You see, I always come from this other lens. No, but that's
Yeah.
great. So you spend most of the time on that. But to me, that sounds very interesting, because it's like, I mean, you have to like probably to play around with numbers, but I know that you do. So for
A
some
little
people,
bit,
it might
a tiny bit. I like that data a tiny bit, yes.
a tiny bit. So
Tiny
for
bit.
everybody who doesn't know, Margrét works around data. So if I would ask you now, what did you do most over the past weeks in your like favorite hobby time? The question, the answer would probably be the same.
A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
to go.
No. So no. You can absolutely ask. So what did I do last night? Last night I was finishing actually a paper, so academic paper, but on data. But we were actually looking at swimming, because you mentioned pastime, and in my former life I was a swimmer, and now we just completed a data-driven analysis of how swimmers progress, and how and so this is totally has nothing to do with pay equity, but the question is, okay, how do we recruit swimmers from high school into the college level in the US? And can we use data-informed models to inform those decisions? And then how has COVID impacted them? So that's what I do in my spare time.
Cool, because I mean, it's not with pay, but if it's about recruiting people from one whatever into another whatever, that is, what did you say before? It's about equal opportunities to doing certain things. We match it again.
Yeah.
No, I like that very much. That's great. So when is that study coming out? We will share it whenever you're ready with it.
Yeah, no. So this is an interesting question. This podcast is totally going in the wrong direction, but so no. So the academic publishing cycle is like years.
Okay.
So
so then we need to finish the 8 minutes, because we don't have that much time. And I think going into a wrong direction maybe is also nice sometimes.
Yeah.
So people know what we do the rest of our lives apart from data and pay. Again, data and pay.
Yeah. But I think maybe to kind of close the loop on this one, because we were talking about modeling and data and thinking about these work schedules. I think often this relates to the question, okay, how do we get started and how detailed do we need to be? And, because there are many things that influence pay, but if they're similar across the demographic groups, maybe we don't have to model them, right? So whatever that might be, car allowance, or, can even be financial responsibility or some detail, as long as we don't see there's a large difference between men and women when it comes to that attribute, maybe as a first round, we don't have to go that detailed. And the reason we had to go this detailed in this analysis was because there wasn't kind of gender parity across the different work schedules, and therefore we wanted to model them. So I think maybe that's how we wrap this up in a reasonable manner.
It's very reasonable, like always. And we made it in 8 minutes again. So
Perfect.
Thank you very much. And if anybody wants to ask a question on moduling time schedules, you can send us an email.
Absolutely. All right.
Margrét.
Bye.